Oh man, I keep screwing up. It's time. It is time. It is Homebrew Wednesday. Yeah, baby. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, everybody. S.J. Poor here from Little Face Brewing. You caught me in the office doing some work with my hops poster behind me. I hope everybody's enjoying their Homebrew Wednesday. I know I am. Couple things going on that I did over the weekend. I transferred over the Belgian into secondary. Split that beer up. Half of it was for Mary and half of it's mine. And here's what that looks like. So what I did, just to kind of refresh a little bit, is I kept this 5 gallons is mine and this 5 gallons is hers. Now mine, I just wanted it to be just the straight up Belgian, just as it is, no frills. And hers goes back to what she set this recipe up for from the beginning, and this has the cranberry and orange chutney. You can see the cranberry and orange, the chutney's laying on top. She used the raw brown turbinado sugar. Really nice and flavorful, juicy, sweet oranges and frozen cranberries, and threw that all into a food processor and chopped it all up and tossed it in there and set the beer right on top of it. So now the idea is for this to set on the chutney for, I think we're doing a week or two. The last time that we did this, I got very little fermentation. That hasn't been the case with this one. As you can see, it's almost started another krausen throughout the sugars, which will probably bump the ABV up a little bit. It slowed back down when we first transferred it over and put it onto the fruit. It was pretty aggressive. So that'll change the flavor profile a little bit, but I don't think it's going to throw it off that awful much. It should still be a really nice Belgian. So we're really looking forward to what those two beers, offer. Yeah, they're going to be nice. They're going to be really super nice. And what I also did with that was I washed the yeast. So when I fermented those out, I used 2 fermenters. Used my bucket fermenter and one of the other carboys, and I used a vial of each. So I figured, what the heck, I'm going to go ahead and wash this yeast and use that yeast for another Belgian. So get as much use, get as much bang for my buck as humanly possible, right? So yeah, so that's the Belgian, looking good. I also went ahead and took care of the barrel as well. So here's a little bit on that. So I bottled and kegged the brown ale that was in the barrel. It had been in the barrel for 5 months, and I kegged half of it and I bottled half of it. And what I did with it, I actually split the idea was to do 2 cases, bottled, did them all in 12 ounces. One case is bottled up straight as it was coming out of the barrel. Real heavy on the oak. The apple cider that was in this barrel prior to the brown ale going in it really did follow through into the brown ale, which is exactly what I wanted to have happen. But as is in most cases, the oak really, in my opinion, really takes over. So if you're a fan of the oak, you're going to love that first case of brown ale that I bottled out of this. The other case I added some vanilla extract. I wanted to smooth some of that out, throw a little bit of the vanilla in there, and the ratio that I went was 1 tablespoon per gallon. So pure vanilla extract, really tasted nice. So that one's bottled, and then actually what I kegged as well, I threw 1 tablespoon per gallon in the keg, and it's sitting over there charging. So that's going to be a really nice beer once it gets on the tap. That's going to be yummy. And if by chance, by some stroke of magic or genius, I'm able to get a nitro system in by the time that thing's ready to be on tap, let me tell you what, that's going to be good. So what we're doing with the barrel now, you'll notice I have it sitting on its side. There is, I'm redoing the barrel. So I need to throw a little bit more whiskey flavor in it. So there's some whiskey in the barrel, and I'm coating the inside of it. Eventually, we want to have this thing pretty much full of whiskey. So been keeping track of what's in, when it's being put in, and how much. And time to re-cure the barrel. Let's get some whiskey flavors back in that rascal, right? So the barrel's sitting there, soaking up some whiskey, getting ready for the next beer that goes in it. Now this is a project that I'm doing with another friend of mine, and the barrel is going to be now in use for quite a while. Looking to about a year is what we're going to let her condition back up again and get in good shape. So love transferring beers around, bottling and keg. It actually went really well. The bottling went really well this weekend as well. When you're only doing a couple cases and you're splitting it up, kind of makes it fun. You get to taste as you're going through it and whatnot. So yeah, it was a very productive beer weekend, so to speak. So keeping notes. Keeping notes is a very important thing. If you can keep as many notes as possible, when you do forget something, hopefully you have enough notes set down that you can go back and figure out what it was that you forgot to write down. Case in point, when I brewed that brown ale, I wrote down my first runnings gravity, I wrote down my pre-boil gravity, I had my volume off of everything, but what I did not do was write down my original gravity before I pitched. So I had asked my good friend Tony Yates, and he actually came up with, he told me, since I had that information, he gave me an equation to use to figure out what my original gravity was. So I want to share that with you guys. And big shout out to you, Tony, for helping me out with that, because I had no idea. So my pre-boil gravity was 1.055 at 12 gallons. So you take the 12 gallons and you multiply that by 55, which is your gravity units. The 0.55, 55 is your gravity units. That gives you a total gravity of 660. So keep that in mind. Total gravity, 660. Well, I know, because I kept the notes, that my total volume, after I'm done with the boil and all that jazz, was 10 gallons. Bam, on the nose. So you take 660, the total gravity units, and you divide that by the amount of gallons that you had in your volume. 10. 660 divided by 10 comes up to 66 gravity units. Hence, your original gravity reading of 1.066. So now that I have that, I can take that and figure out what my alcohol per volume is. So to figure out what my ABV is, now that I know what my original gravity is off of the equation given to me by Tony, I can take the original gravity, 1.066, minus my finished gravity, which was 1.006. That equals 0.06 times 131.25 equals 7.875% alcohol. So now I know what I have as far as the brown ale goes. So it's a great little equation to, if you missed one of your steps along the way, to figure out what your original gravity was. If you have notes on the other parts, you can figure it out. So shout out, Tony. Thank you for that information. Well, there's my Homebrew Wednesday for this week, folks. I hope you enjoy. This is S.J. Porf, Little Face Brewing. Enjoy the fruits of your labor, folks. Through beer. Through wonderful, wonderful beer. Cheers.